Tell me when. Good afternoon. My name is Stephen Atkins. I'm chief of the Chickahominy Indian Tribe, one of the indigenous tribes of the Commonwealth of Virginia. I wasn't asked to do this, but while I have the podium, I welcome you here on behalf of the VA 250th Commission, the great city of Hampton, and the beautiful Fort Monroe. So we're glad you're here with us. I'll offer a prayer to the Creator. I happen to be a Christian, but the Creator made us all. So this prayer represents you as well as myself. Great Spirit, loving Father of all nations, we come as an affirmation of your love, your mercy, and your grace. Let us look to the east where the sun, the great Spirit of light, ushers in a new day, replete with new hope and possibilities. Father, we pray that your light causes us to recognize the blood lost in this place by natives trying to defend their lands, by contraband who were given a glimmer of hope as free men, by the enslaved people whose work, backbreaking work, helped bring us to where we are today. By the leadership at Fort Monroe, who are striving to tell the story this land holds, and the VA 250 commissioners who are sharing the building blocks of this great republic, the United States of America, in a way that it has never been told. Hope for a union that recognizes steps to perfection must include perspectives of all of the players in this grand experiment, and the will to surmount the challenges this nation faces as it struggles to preserve, protect, and grow this beacon of light we know as democracy. Father God, continue to illuminate our paths as we embrace new possibilities, and thank you for the gift of a new day. Let us look to the north and invite the great Spirit of love to embrace and instill in us courage as we face the cold winds of indifference, hate, and evil that would seek to destabilize that foundation of sound principles and ideals laid by statesmen 249 years ago. Equip us to replace hatred with love. Move us to understand the significance of being made in your image, an image of both love and goodwill. Cause us to hold hands and move through life, turning obstacles into possibilities as we surmount the challenges for the common good. Let us look to the West and embrace the Creator's great life-giving Spirit. As the sun goes down in the west, let us pause to thank God that we were able to enjoy the gift of yet another day. Let us do the work you have assigned us to do with dignity, humility, and love. Let us not dwell on missed opportunities or lament the past. Rather, let us learn from our missteps and face the west, meet the dawn with renewed courage, energy, and purpose. Let us look to the south and invite the great Spirit of creation into our midst. O great Creator, we need only to look outside to see the wonders of your handiwork as we observe the fields and gardens preparing to yield their seasonal produce. As we embrace our seasonal rebirth, give us the courage to challenge the status quo, to shred to pieces the bias and ignorance that would divide, but rather embrace the commonalities that would bind us together. Great Creator, render our minds fertile while seeding them with compassion, hope, and energy equal to the task before us. Father, as your word says, it is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery. Aho.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome this evening's host, the co-anchor of PBS NewsHour, Jeff Bennett.
Good evening, everyone, and happy 4th of July. On behalf of Virginia 250 and the Fort Monroe Authority, welcome to America Made in Virginia Grand Ceremony. I promise you it will live up to its name with grand music, stirring oratory, pageantry, and heart. And yes, there will be a few surprises along the way, not to mention 400 drones, a United States Air Force flyover, and the best fireworks display in the Commonwealth. And it all begins right now. Freedom is the heartbeat that unites us all as Americans. So now listen and hear the ceremonial sounds of chants and the beat of an indigenous drum, the percussive rhythms of a West African drum that fills our souls, and a colonial drum that stirs us and calls us to assemble. And as you listen, we invite you to reflect. These drum beats are the heartbeats of our nation, each drum beat different, yet all speak deeply to us. They remind us, e pluribus unum, out of many, one.
When I think of freedom, I envision red, white, and blue, the stars and stripes, and the Statue of Liberty, standing tall on Ellis Island. In my illustration, I aim to convey how freedom truly feels to me. I hope that others can sense the same feeling of freedom and pride from this piece.
It is my pleasure to introduce you to the Executive Director of the Virginia America Revolution 250 Commission, my friend Cheryl Wilson.
Thank you, Jeff. Good evening and welcome to America Made in Virginia, 4th at the Fort. Thank you to Jeff Bennett, co-anchor of the PBS NewsHour, for serving as our host this evening. And Jeff, what a pleasure it is to have another 4th of July with you. Thank you for being here. A special welcome to those joining us online and through WHRO Public Media, which is going to be simulcasting tonight's fireworks score featuring the United States Air Force Heritage of America Band under the command of Major Christina Muncy. Friends, it is a privilege to be gathered here together with you on this Independence Day as we begin the semi-quincentennial year of the United States of America. Today, we embark on a full year of events, series of events that will knit communities together in one common cause and knit people together in one common hope. The Virginia American Revolution 250 Commission, together with its partners, are curating hundreds of impactful events and profound moments to carry the VA 250 mission, which is to educate, engage, and inspire. And of course, this evening's grand ceremony and fireworks spectacular is no exception. Because we're standing here where so much history happened. Chesapeake history, Virginia history, American history, and it's humbling, it's inspirational, it's profound. Tonight, as the sun starts to set, I take us back to this morning. For many of us, this day began at dawn. This morning, these grounds were witness to the swearing in of nearly 100 new citizens of the nation. These men and women who came from 40 countries, Albania to Venezuela, Cameroon, France, Guatemala, South Africa, United Kingdom, and so many more. These men and women were inspired to change their lives for themselves and their families. Men and women who believe in this country and are now willing to do their part as American citizens in their new home. Out of many, one. So this morning, bright and early on the historic parade ground of this historic fort, it all began when each candidate raised their right hand and solemnly took the oath of allegiance to support and defend the Constitution and to bear true faith and allegiance to the same. Oaths and pledges, by their very nature, contain both power and promise. And the Declaration of Independence contains perhaps the most significant pledge in its final sentence. We mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. So friends, as the semi-quincentennial draws even closer, tonight we present together the first of many opportunities to share, as a community, a new pledge, the semi-quincentennial pledge. And in doing so, we raise our hands, our hearts, and our voices to renew the pledge made 249 years ago. Their past is our important work to form a more perfect union together for tomorrow. So to guide us through this pledge together, please welcome rising 7th grader and a very talented emerging celebrity from Stafford, Virginia, Adriana Ware.
Good evening. If so willing, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. We, the people of the United States of America, raise hand and heart, and mutually pledge to embrace the spirit and responsibilities of citizenship, to renew our commitment that all people are created equal, and are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. That among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And in recognition of our nation's 250th anniversary, we mutually pledge to learn from the past, to engage with the present, and to help inspire America's future. As we strive to form a more perfect union. And so we will. This is our semi-quincentennial pledge. Happy birthday, America.
What an inspiration. Another round of applause, please, for Adriana. So we invite you now to ponder the question, what does freedom mean? What does freedom mean to you? It's a question that carries even more weight when you're standing on the grounds of Fort Monroe, a national monument also known as Freedom's Fortress, Virginia's engage students in this historic moment and to explore the enduring meaning of freedom. We are pleased to welcome many of the winning students and their families here this evening. Please give them a round of applause.
Freedom, oh freedom, what a wonderful thing. The joy that a small bird feels when it takes wing, the way a frown can turn into a smile, the peace that spreads for miles and miles.
I love the way that freedom wings, a song of joy that gently clings. It's every soul's most heartfelt plea.
Freedom, oh freedom, you set us free.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Honorable Jimmy Gray, Mayor of the City of Hampton and Honorary Chairman of the Sister Cities of Hampton. Mayor Gray.
Thank you, and good evening. What a great honor it is to be at such a historic location on such a historic date. Tonight, there will be festivities and fireworks in every town in America, but no one has a more appropriate location than we have right here. We celebrate our freedom at Freedom's Fortress. We celebrate our nation's birthday on a spot that has played such a central role in our nation's history, dating back to before we even called it a nation. It was in 1619, before our founding fathers were even born, that a ship called the White Lion arrived here on what is now Fort Monroe. It arrived from Angola carrying 32 people brought here to be enslaved. Two of those people, Anthony and Isabella, would give birth to the first black child whose birth and baptism were documented in the colony of Virginia. And when you stand at Point Comfort today, you look out at the same expanse ocean that brought them here. And it's not hard to imagine the fear and uncertainty that they felt, but those first arrivals from Angola also carried with them a spirit that could not be broken. And more than 4 centuries later, that spirit still lives and breathes in our culture. It lives and breathes here where it all began, and it lives and breathes across this land. And that is a part of our past, but it is also a part of our present and our future. The Tucker family is still here. Can you imagine how many generations that represents? And how appropriate it is that this very site, Fort Monroe, is also the spot where escaped slaves came during the Civil War because they knew they would be freed here. From Point Comfort to Freedom's Fortress to the Emancipation Oak, that's the story's arc from bondage to freedom right here in Hampton, Virginia. And as of last weekend, I am so proud to add that celebrating today officially as an All-America City, we earned that designation for the 5th time this week after our city delegation gave a presentation in Denver. So let me repeat that, our 5th time, and nobody can tell us that Hampton is not an All-America City. So today we honor America's history, all of its history. We recognize everything that it took to bring us to this point in 2025, battles won and lost, heroes who will never forget, and some whose names we may never know. Today, on America's birthday, we tell America's story, and we celebrate that we are here together on this day, at this spot, together as Americans. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Gray. As the mayor said, Hampton is a city teeming with history, nature, the arts, and much more. It's also a proud participant in the Global Sisters Cities community, and that's a program that gives cities across the world the opportunity to serve as an ambassador for their own communities and to bring people together from all around the globe. As the mayor mentioned, the Republic of Angola on the west central coast of southern Africa has a direct connection to this very spot. It is also part of the Global Sister Cities program. In fact, the Sister Cities of Hampton include localities in England, in France, in South Africa, in South Korea, and its newest sister city of Melange in Angola. Melange is a place of natural beauty, wildlife, abundant agriculture, and minerals. And while we're divided by 6,757 miles of ocean, to be exact, today's bond of partnership and friendship is strong. It is now my honor to cross those miles of ocean with this Independence Day greeting from a descendant of the Tucker family, the same family that first stepped shore here on that fateful day back in 1619. From Angola, please welcome Wanda.
From Angola to the great city of Hampton, Virginia, happy 4th of July.
From Calendula Falls in Angola, happy Independence Day from the William Tucker Family and Friends Heritage Tour.
So our deep thanks to the government of Angola and to the Tucker family for sharing this Independence Day with us. It's an honor to interact culturally, educationally, and economically with Melange and sister cities in a way that enriches us all.
Freedom isn't just a word in a history textbook or something we celebrate once a year on July 4th. It's something we all have to keep working toward as a country, every day. It means standing up for what is right, treating other people with respect, and celebrating our strengths as a country, as well as recognizing the difficult chapters of our past.
Well, just behind me, you might have noticed that 46 of the finest musicians in the United States Armed Forces have gathered to join us to celebrate our nation's 249th birthday. And there is a lot of great music to come, from John Philip Sousa to John Williams and more. Under the command of Major Christina Muncy, please welcome the incomparable musicians of the United States Air Force Heritage of America Band. First up, a song premiere that just might be near and dear to a lot of local hearts. The title, Made in Virginia.
Virginia.
To all here who attend, please rise if so able for the singing of our national anthem.
Freedom is the air we breathe, a voice that never has to grieve.
It is the right to speak the truth we hold, and let our spirit be bold. To me, freedom is more than just a word. Every silent cry was finally heard.
It's waking up and knowing you're free to live, to love, to simply be you.
Hear ye, hear ye. A call to the youth of Virginia. Give attendance to these words. On the 4th of July, 2025, the children of Virginia, their families, friends, and neighbors are hereby invited to the Commonwealth's biggest birthday bash on the historic grounds of Fort Monroe to celebrate the 249th anniversary of the United States of America. Here assembled, all are encouraged to discover the revolutionary spirit that led to the birth of a new nation, engage in fun-filled activities that celebrate the people and traditions of Virginia, be inspired by the words, art, and music that celebrate our hopes and dreams. Now, my beloved friends, prepare for the fireworks. But before we do, gentlemen and ladies, I beg your attention. To all who here attend, it is my distinguished honor to introduce to you the Vice Chair of Virginia's American Revolution 250 Commission, State Senator Mamie Locke. Shall we?
Thank you, President Madison. Good evening and welcome to Fourth at the Fort. That proclamation you just heard was sent out across the Commonwealth. Each of you answered the call, and here we are. First, I would like to extend warm greetings from the Virginia 250 Chair, Delegate Terry Austin. The delegate is spending this 4th of July with friends, neighbors, and fellow constituents at his district's local celebrations as he seeks another term in office. I can't wait to tell him about all that he's missing and tonight's amazing festivities. Meanwhile, I know he would be just as thrilled as I am to see so many of our friends and neighbors out here in Hampton on this hot, not so hot, and humid summer evening. We've come from different places, traveled different roads, experienced different triumphs and different challenges, and yet, on this one evening in July, we gather here, together in one spirit of unity. Out of many, one. We've gathered here at Fort Monroe to celebrate the nation's birthday and to officially kick off a year of Virginia 250 events. All of this will lead to a ceremony in the heart of Colonial Williamsburg and in communities across Virginia to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the United States of America that will take place in a short 365 days from now. But before we arrive at that momentous finale, we begin here tonight at Freedom's Fortress, here on the historic grounds of Fort Monroe. This land we're standing on is sacred ground. Throughout our collective history, freedom was challenged, fought for, redefined, and nurtured right here at Fort Monroe. Inside these fortress walls, just a stone's throw away, there stands an impressive tree, the Algernon oak. It sprouted about 500 years ago when Kecoughtan people foraged and fished at Old Point Comfort. It saw the first English colonists, then the first Africans disembarked from the White Lion in 1619. Its roots dug deep as Great Britain fought to hold onto its American colonies, as those colonies sought independence. The United States Army built its largest stone fort around it. Men and women sought freedom from slavery beside it and sought solace in great contraband camps. The Algernon oak became part of Fort Monroe's National Monument in 2011. And this magnificent tree still watches as American history and its never-ending quest for freedom unfolds. Tonight, each of our stories join its story, America's story. Over the next 12 months, Virginia 250 invites you to join us on our historic journey Throughout this state where America was made, we will continue to answer the call for freedom and the quest for a more perfect union, for the youth of Virginia, for a more perfect tomorrow. And so we begin, and we thank you for joining us.
I was inspired to make this painting by the ferocity of the United States patriotism. The sharp talons show how strongly America's citizens would protect our country. The bayonet was inspired by the American Revolution, a war that molded our Constitution.
Life seekers, attend. Turn.
Congress, July 4th, 1776,
the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America.
When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them.
A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal,
that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men
deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed.
That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute new government.
Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light in transit causes.
But when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security.
The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of absolute tyranny over these states.
A prince whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant, is unfit to be the ruler of a free people.
Nor have we been wanting in attention to our British brethren. They too have been deaf to the voice of justice and consanguinity.
We must, therefore, acquiesce in the necessity which denounces our separation and hold them, as we hold the rest of mankind, enemies in war, in peace, friends.
We, therefore, the representatives of the United States of America, in General Congress, assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do, in the name and by authority of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare that
these united colonies are and of right ought to be free and independent states. That they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown.
And that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is ought to be totally dissolved.
And that as free and independent states, they have full power to
levy war,
conclude peace,
contract alliances,
establish commerce,
and do all other acts and things which independent states may of right do.
And for the support of this declaration,
with a firm alliance on the protection of divine providence,
we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. For the United States of America!
Hip, hip,
huzzah! Hip, hip, huzzah! Hip, hip, huzzah!
In my eyes, liberty encompasses the ideals of freedom of self, freedom of choice, and the underlying loss necessary for its preservation. Despite whatever hardships this country has faced in these past centuries, through every moment, prosperous or not, these ideals still hold true. America is a land dedicated to the conservation of independence.
Every day at school, at home, or in public, I have the right to talk to my friends and family freely without fear. I have the right to debate burning questions, such as if morality is objective or subjective, or if individuals have the rights to disobey laws they perceive as unjust. Though I do have the right to discuss anything, others have every right to challenge my opinions, especially if they are perceivably controversial. They can refute my claims, but they cannot silence me. The ability to express oneself without fear is something I consider to be a fundamental to freedom.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the distinguished Wake Forest University Professor Emeritus, Department of History, a scholar of research in African American history. He is the noted author of several books, including the most recent, Flock of Birds, Virginia Colonialism into Native Country, 1670 to 1776. Please welcome Dr. Anthony Parent.
The Reverend John Chavis served in the 5th Virginia Regiment for 3 years, earning a land bounty. Reverend Chavis could trace his ancestry to the early free black community here in Virginia. After he finished his war service, he attended the College of New Jersey, which is now Princeton, and Washington Academy, which is now Washington and Lee University, where he studied ministry. He served as a minister in both North Carolina and Virginia before he opened schools in Wake County, North Carolina. At Wake County, North Carolina, he educated the best and the brightest in the state. His white students he sent on to Chapel Hill, and many of them even went on to serve in the Congress. Unable to service his black students in the same place, he educated them at night. By 1831, however, Reverend Chavis would say, "If I am black, I am American born and a Revolutionary War soldier, and therefore ought not to be thrown entirely out of the scale of notices." Now, what he meant by that was that by 1830, there was a movement to deport free blacks from the country to Liberia. Failing that, there was an effort to denationalize those blacks, or in other words, to take away their citizenship. Now, Chavis was one of 5,000 to 7,000 African Americans that served in the American Revolution. When they finished their service, they won the first emancipation of blacks in the United States. They were optimistic in their freedom and were also confident that one day they would overturn slavery. Now, one of those that served would be the Reverend Lemuel Haynes. Now, Haynes would serve as a Minuteman and also on the Continental Line. When Jefferson penned his Declaration of Independence, Haynes would write his piece, Liberty Further Extended. What he criticized in the Declaration of Independence was his absence of any mention of abolishing the bestiality of slavery. He also asserted that Africans had every right, as much as Englishmen, to have liberty extended to them. Now, what we'll find is that on holidays like this, the 4th of July, or in the press, or in printouts or broadsides, African Americans were under attack. These free African Americans were under attack. Many white nativists didn't feel that they were worthy of citizenship. They, on the other hand, to combat this, would begin to form their own organizations. And interestingly, they formed organizations recalling their African ancestry. You've all heard of the African Methodist Episcopal Church, the Free African Society, Mutual Aid Society. Their schools were called Free African Schools. But at the same time, They took on surnames such as Be a Man, Free Man, and one even took the surname America. Now, with the War of 1812, or the end of War of 1812, the country remembered its veterans. Many of them had grown poor, old, and sick. And so in the first congressional act that was essentially a social welfare program, these veterans were awarded pensions. Now, what we learned from these pension rolls is that these veterans, African American as well as white Americans, were all revered and remembered and honored in their communities. But at the same time, around 1816, 1817, there's a formation of an organization called the American Colonization Society. And its goal was to remove free blacks from the United States. And they started, and with this organization, they founded a colony called Liberia, and James Monroe, today's the date of his death, anniversary, but James Monroe, in his first policy decision as president, would help the Colonization Society in this effort. And so when you see Liberia today, it has the name Monrovia as its capital, named after James Monroe. African Americans then were under attack. Their immediate effort was to say no, we won't go. 3,000 of them would even meet at the AME Bethel Church and say no, that we would not leave our people here in bondage, but we would stay and assert our citizenship rights. Nevertheless, by the 1830s, the failure to deport these people did not mean it didn't succeed in denationalizing them or taking away their citizenship rights. Another veteran would say, John Fortin would say that he remembered African Americans going to Red Hook. He remembered the troops that marched through Philadelphia en route to Yorktown. He says, all this now appears to be forgotten, and the descendants of these men are to be removed to a distant and inhospitable country, while immigrants from every other country are permitted to seek an asylum from oppression. The descendants of these people, though, began to assert another name for their symbolic of their struggle. They began to call on Crispus Attucks as someone who was the first to die in the American Revolution. And like John Chavis, they began to remember or recall that they were American-born, and also their ancestors were servicemen in the American Revolution. So in order to contest the 4th of July, African Americans began to assert themselves by even hosting an alternative date, the 5th of March, which was Crispus Attucks Day. Frederick Douglass would make a very important speech in what was called, what to the 4th of July, what to the slave is the 4th of July? And in that speech, he alluded to Haynes's liberty further extended. And what he said in that speech, and I'll close with this, what have I, or those I represent, to do with national independence? Are the great principles of political freedom and of natural justice embodied in that Declaration of Independence extended to us?
When I think of the word freedom, I think of the Marquis de Lafayette. He did a lot for this country, and I wanted to show it in this painting. I couldn't help but think, if Lafayette was here today, would he have liked what he's seeing? He had high hopes and great expectations for this country. Would he think 250 years was finally enough for everything he believed this nation can do to become true?
people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. These words are not inked lightly. They were carved from conflict, risen from reason, and informed beyond all other aspiration by experience. Experience, I once wrote, is the oracle of truth. In crafting America's fundamental framework of government, the federal Constitution, we did not rely on fantasy. We did not rely on fleeting passions. We did not build a government of the now. We studied the wreckage and wisdom of centuries, from the republics of Greece and Rome to the failures of our own first confederation. We listened to the voice of history because we knew that liberty cannot stand upon impulse alone. It must be built upon the firm foundation of hard-earned truth. We built a government, my friends, for tomorrow, from the pieces scattered from yesterday. We understood, even in 1787, that the Constitution was not a finished monument, but a living framework, an engine designed not to bind the people, but to unleash their highest potential. Yet this framework only works if a people are vigilant, thoughtful and free in both mind and spirit. I, James Madison, believed then and still declare to you now, a well-instructed people alone can be permanently a free people. That is our challenge as Americans and our charge. To keep freedom, we must understand it. To hold on to it, we must question it, examine, learn. It is not fire alone that secures a republic, it is light. Tonight, as the fireworks ignite above us, dazzling displays of liberty's flame, let us remember, countrymen, the greatest illumination comes not from the sky, but from within. It is the glow of an enlightened citizenry. It is the spark of the minds educated in the cause of liberty. It is the brilliance of a people who know their history, reflect on their failures, and have the courage to choose the harder right over the easier wrong. Because this is not a nation of just laws. It is a nation of hearts, of hands that built it, voices that questioned it, feet that marched for it, and lives that bled to defend it. This republic lives not in monuments, but in its ideas. And from its ideas, my friends, its choices, your choices. So I ask you, not as a founder propped upon marble, but as a fellow believer in the promise of America, I beg of you to read, to learn, to teach your children, to speak truth, to seek truth, to defend with clarity and conscience the liberties passed down to you not by accident, but by design. And let us all, as we turn our eyes skyward, commit to being not only the spectators of freedom, but its sacred defenders. For if experience is indeed the oracle of truth, then let us be a nation that listens and learns and leads. Now, without further ado, let the celebration of liberty truly begin!
My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside let freedom ring. My native country, the land of the noble free, thy name I love. I love the rocks and rills, thy woods and templed hills. My heart with rapture thrills like that above. Let music swell the breeze and ring from all the trees sweet freedom song. Let mortal tongues awake, let all that breathe partake, let rocks their silence break, the sound prolong. Our fathers, God, to thee, author of liberty, to thee we sing. Long may our land be bright with freedom's holy light. Protect us by thy might, great God, our King.
To me, freedom isn't a place, it's a process. One that started many years before I was born, and one that I now continue. It's not only about what I'm free to do, but about what I'm free to be. And within that freedom is the ability to make a difference.
Beneath the summer sky, there is a story to be told. It's a story you can hold close to your heart. Beneath the summer sky, on a night of light and thunder, like children filled with wonder, we played our part, and we'll sing of the heroes and the deeds they have done. The race is run, and the race is won. We'll sing of the dreamers and the dreams made real, and we'll feel like we can fly beneath the summer sky.
That these united colonies are and of right ought to be free and independent states, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved. Richard Henry Lee of Virginia, June 7th, 1776.
Yes, we feel like we can fly beneath the summer sky.
Good evening and happy 4th of July! Woohoo! My name is Margaret Woods. I'm a proud Virginia resident and a professor of voice at Virginia Commonwealth University. Any VCU Rams in the audience? Woo! I'm gonna call this our 7th inning stretch. I'm gonna invite you to stand up. It is a joy to be with you on this night of light and thunder, better known as a great evening for fireworks. And, by the way, it's also a great evening for singing. By me, and also, surprise, by you. Yes, it's your turn. One of the great joys of music is that out of many, we can sing with one voice. Music brings us all together and can also be a lot of fun. So we're gonna start first with an old-time favorite, Take Me Out to the Ball Game. And I better hear you, nice and loud. Take me out to the ball game, take me out to the crowd, buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back, for it's root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame, for it's 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. It's root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame, for it's 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Well done. Some awesome singers up here in the front. I can hear you. Our last song for our stretch here is God Bless America by Irving Berlin. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Thank you so much for being a part of tonight's sing-along. I'll be back a little bit later. Meanwhile, enjoy all that's yet to come, including more great music and oratory as the skies darken and we await the start of the fireworks. Happy birthday, America!
The painting shows the celebration between France and America at the unveiling of the Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty is a great sign of friendship, freedom, and peace. She serves as the center of the painting, with everything revolving around her. She holds her torch high, parting the gloomy clouds, bringing light.
Well, as Margaret said, tonight is a night of light, a night of reflection, a night of coming together for a common purpose, to work together toward that more perfect union. Here now is the singing trio Grace and Harmony. Please welcome Asia Harris, Andrea Harris, and Valerie Wilkins, and the song premiere of A More Perfect Union.
from the first English settlement at Jamestown to the surrender of the British at Yorktown, from give me liberty or give me death, to all men are created equal. From Washington and Jefferson to Madison and Mason, from Powhatan and Pocahontas to James Armistead Lafayette and Gowan Pamphlet, from the ideas that inspired it to the battlefields that decided it. There is simply no America without it, and no better time than now to reconnect with your country in the place that made it possible.
Please welcome a visionary leader whose insight and experience have helped guide this commemoration with purpose and clarity, the honorary chair of the Virginia American Revolution 250 Commission, the one and only Carly Fiorina.
Thank you, Jeff, and good evening. America was indeed made in Virginia. Wherever you traveled from today, wherever you're going tomorrow, you are not simply making a journey to Fort Monroe or up the road to Williamsburg, you are coming home. As the birthplace of the nation, Virginia belongs to every American. It doesn't matter whether you can trace your lineage back to the first Americans or you just became a citizen this morning. It doesn't matter where or how you started or what you look like. If you believe in the promise of America, in individual liberty and equality before God, then Virginia is where you come from, because this is where those ideas were born and raised, where the dream of freedom became a nation destined to achieve it. America, welcome home. We are so fortunate to be here tonight on sacred ground by the Algernon oak that Senator Locke spoke so movingly about. We gather here tonight together to remember our past and honor those who came before us. We gather here tonight together to celebrate the ideas and the ideals that have brought us to this time and this community. And as we listen to our inspiring young Virginians and their powerful tributes to freedom, and raise our right hands and take the semi-quincentennial pledge, we recommit ourselves to our role as citizens and the work to form a more perfect union. Whenever any of our families gather for a special occasion, the same thing always happens. It happens in your families and it happens in mine. We inevitably begin to tell stories about our family's past. We do this because we realize at our core that we cannot know ourselves unless we know those who came before us. Until we understand our past, we feel untethered in our present, unmoored, and uncertain about our future. For those of you like me who have had family stories that were hidden because we were ashamed or afraid or indifferent, we all eventually learn that a family cannot heal until everyone's story is told. What is true for a family is true for a community, and it is true for our nation. Throughout all time and across the face of the earth, ours is the only nation not founded on ethnicity or territory or religion. Ours is the only nation in human history founded on ideas, ideals, and a system of government. When we do not know our history, when we do not care who or what came before us, when we no longer understand the foundation upon which our nation is built, then we do not know why we are Americans. And our differences tear us apart because we have no national purpose or identity that holds us together. We have always been a fractious, restless, and yes, a divided nation. The truth is that a common cause to build a new nation was undertaken by people who did not always like or trust one another. Thomas Jefferson and Patrick Henry despised each other. George Washington and George Mason went to their dying days never speaking again, despite being neighbors, over a fearsome disagreement about the Bill of Rights. Deep divisions existed throughout all the colonies over slavery, over religion, politics, ethnicity, status, and class. Colonists were divided over the most fundamental question of all, whether the revolution was heroism or treason. And can you imagine how the enslaved community must have felt about all the revolutionary fervor and the talk of freedom? 250 years ago this November, Lord Dunmore, the last royal governor up the road in Williamsburg, promised any enslaved man who would fight on the side of the British their eventual freedom. Do you imagine the enslaved community or the free blacks among them were united about how to respond to this? Of course not. Can you imagine the incalculable risks the enslaved and their families had to weigh as they considered whether to fight for an idea alongside their enslavers or take their chances with the British Army? And yet, so many did fight for a new nation built on powerful ideas. The arrival of colonists in tall ships was a harbinger of disaster for the tribes of this area in so many ways. The various tribes, sovereign nations all, were deeply divided over how to engage with the 13 colonies and how to interpret the budding movement towards independence. Many chiefs and their representatives found the British more reliable negotiating partners. And yet, despite the divisions and the huge risks, countless forebears of Chief Atkins and all the tribal chiefs gathered here this evening fought for powerful ideas and for a different future. And to this day, despite only earning citizenship in 1924, Native Americans fight in our armed forces at the highest rate per capita of any group of Americans. The revolutionary movement, like all great movements forward in this country, did not occur because everyone agreed. Great movements forward occur because enough people decide that their common cause is more important than individual differences and disagreements. And this is true of our times and our semi-quincentennial movement as well. The signing of the Declaration of Independence does not mark the beginning of the Revolutionary War, nor its end. It did not mark the beginning or the end of the political process to form a new system of government. Nevertheless, the powerful ideas in the Declaration read to us earlier by our young Virginians inspired men and women, enslaved and free, native and immigrant. They were wildly radical ideas at the time, and they changed the world forever. They have inspired every movement for human dignity, equality, and liberty ever since, here and in every corner of the earth. As Americans, we know our nation has failings. We know we do not always live up to our ideals. Still, we are optimistic about our future because we know that what happened here in Virginia bequeaths to us a system of government that allows us to repair our faults. Citizens are sovereign in our system of government. And so our motivation comes from knowing that we as citizens can build upon the efforts of those who came before us and continue to form a more perfect union. Our inspiration comes from the realization that despite risk, division, fear, and doubt, against all odds, countless heroes, whether we know their names or not, chose to do difficult, important things. And we realize, when we see our own reflections in the mirror of our history, that those heroes were not so different from ourselves. America is still the nation where more things are more possible for more people than anywhere else on earth. Let us pledge to educate ourselves about who and where we come from. Let us pledge to engage with one another so that we understand why we are all Americans. And let us pledge that our 250th birthday and the semi-quincentennial movement will inspire a season of civic renewal. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter how you started or how you pronounce your last name. If you believe in the promise of America, if you believe in equality before God, if you believe in self-evident truths and unalienable rights, if you believe in the freedom of each of us to dream and then live to make those dreams come true, if you believe in these American ideals, then e pluribus unum, out of many one, is still possible in this great nation. Thank you for being here. Welcome home.
Thank you, Carly, for those inspiring words. And now, a curtain of light literally rises as we have arrived at the last act and finale of this evening's grand ceremony. Following a final selection by the Colonial Williamsburg Fifes and Drum Junior Corps under the command of Drum Major Adams, we will hear the winning entry in the Department of Education in Virginia 250 Expressions of Freedom contest. It's titled Stars, and it's a poem by Mara O., fourth grader from Boyce, Virginia. The poem leads into Free to Dream, a dance premiere performed by the Leah Glenn Dance Theater with vocals by Margaret Woods and the thrilling imagery provided by the 400 drones now assembling off to, oh, they're already there. And after this, the fireworks will follow.
They glisten. The same stars that are in the sky are imprinted onto a piece of freedom, lingering there, waiting for new light,
New hope, a new day.
The old songs are waking.
what you're trying to do to me. Yeah, think that you might go let yourself be free. Oh, freedom, 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 yeah, freedom, 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 yeah, freedom. Hey, think about it, you think about it, think about what you're trying to do to me. Yeah, think, let your mind go, let yourself be free. You need me. wake, drifting through the wind, wanting to start again. Do you ever feel so paper thin, like a house of cards, one blow from caving in? Do you ever feel already buried deep, 6 feet under screams, but no one seems to hear a thing? Do you know that there's still a chance for you, 'cause there's a spark in you? You just gotta ignite the light and let
Well, that was unlike any fireworks display I have ever seen. On behalf of Virginia 250 and the Fort Monroe Authority, thank you for joining us here in this historic grounds of Freedom's Fortress for the 249th birthday of the United States of America. With special thanks to the United States Air Force Heritage Band, thank you. To our many partners and sponsors, all of this evening's participants, a special thank you to the event designer Bill Skemmerhorn and his amazing team. We now look forward to sharing our nation's semi-quincentennial with you throughout the coming year and hope to see you at the Commonwealth's official Independence Day celebration in the heart of colonial Williamsburg on the 4th of July, 2026. Until then, we wish you and yours a safe journey home. Happy birthday, America. God bless America, and God bless all of you.